Saturday's here, turn the volume loud. Cartoon heroes crashing through the crowd. Ghostbusters, slime, He-Man's power attack. Turtles in the sewer and the Rangers fight back. Grab your cereal, let's relive the past. Alex is your host, prepare for a blast. Retro laughs with every track we slash. It's Slash Trax, Saturday's back. Slash Trax, cartoons on the attack.
Good morning, Slashketeers and Slashamaniacs. Welcome back to the Slash Trax Clubhouse. I'm your host for the day, Alex Vanover, and we are going to head to a very exciting place. We're going to Angel Grove. We're going to see what's going on with the Power Rangers. Jason, Tommy, Kimberly, Trini, Billy, everybody. Zach's the star of this episode that we're checking out today, by the way. Let's waste no time and let's get into the Slash Trax Saturday morning fun. All right, today's episode, Island of Illusion Part 1. So this is a two-parter, so the next episode is going to be, for Slash Trax Saturday mornings, will be Island of Illusion Part 2. But this is the first part of a two-parter. One of the worst things to ever happen to you as a kid. You know the episode's not going to get wrapped up, and you see that, you know the to be continued is coming your way. It was terrible. Your snack's almost done. You're ready to go outside and play. You want to have a conclusion. You want to have the problem resolved in your show, but no such luck. You're going to have to wait till the next day, and in some cases, it could be on a Friday, and you're waiting until Monday. That was the worst. That was the absolute worst. Island of Illusion, Part 1. Season 1, Episode 28. Original air date was November 2nd, 1993. The director was our boy, Terrence H. Winkless, which I am convinced is not his real name. Can't be his real name. It's got to be a stage name. That's like a stripper name. There's no way that's his real name. Terrence did 17 episodes of Pacific Blue, which was the show, like the bike cop show, I think, that used to come on after Monday Night Raw, which was like the only reason I would even watch any of that show. He did 3 episodes of Masked Rider, which was kind of like another Haim Saban thing, and it was his attempt at... Haim Saban was basically the boy band guy who got arrested for his Ponzi scheme. He was just like creating NSYNC, 98 Degrees, O-Town, Backstreet Boys. He was doing that with all of these Japanese footage shows. He was trying to make a boy band empire. I think that Jason David Frank would have fit right in a boy band. He had that look for sure. Beetleborgs, 3 episodes. He did 38 episodes of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, so this was his bread and butter. And he also did a movie called Rage and Honor, which I'm almost positive didn't go to theaters. It's a story about an inner-city high school teacher who musters the martial arts to thwart the lure of street gangs and their seductive plague of drugs. So he musters martial arts. So does that mean he just, like, conjured it? Like, he didn't have it before, and he just, I'm going to fight with karate and martial arts, and I'm going to fight these street gangs? Or did he know how to use karate, and he was a master of the martial arts, and he fought back? That's pretty unclear in this description. I will say this does sound like a Substitute ripoff, the Tom Berenger movie that's highly slept on. If you guys haven't seen The Substitute, I believe it came out in 1994. It is a great watch. Definitely worth your time. Good movie. A lot of fun. The writer is a guy named Chris Schoon. Chris Schoon. He wrote 2 episodes of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, an episode of Batman the Animated Series, an episode of Gravedale High, which I've never heard of, but the photo looked pretty cool, so I might have to look on YouTube and try to check that out. Top 3 Billboard albums of 1993. Mariah Carey, Music Box, sold 30 million. Ace of Base, The Sign, sold 25 million, which just blows my mind because Ace of Base, I feel like, sold 100 million that year. It was everywhere. You could not escape The Sign. And all that they wanted was another baby, another Diamond album or whatever. They never got one, though. That was like that was their magnum opus, The Sign. All 4 of them are probably still living off of that album to this day. It was everywhere. I cannot tell you enough that it was there. It was everywhere. It was on every jukebox. It was on every VH1. Every time you watch VH1 or MTV, it was all over. Skating rinks, girls' houses, everywhere. Your mom's radio in the kitchen. Aerosmith, Get a Grip, 20 million. This is insane. Aerosmith is like one of the only bands that's had major hits in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. They are just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Steven Tyler and Joe Perry are just phenomenal. And the rest of the boys in Aerosmith, incredible. What else do we got here? You know what? Let's go to the show sponsor today. We are going to go see what's going on with today's show sponsor. Let's check it out right now.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Imagine Eternia. Imagine the gate of fangs. Eternia. Batteries not included. Imagine the Sony Skytrax. Figures sold separately. The camera of justice. Eternia. Imagine the power lift to the control chamber. At last, from the masters of the universe, the world you've always imagined can be yours.
Never had Eternia. I definitely wanted it. If you slashaholics, slashketeers, slashamaniacs, if you guys have Eternia to this day, you have a little bit of a savings fund there. Eternia is worth a lot of money. If you have it in box, you might not have to work anymore. Super rare playset. It was released at the end of the toy line of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Not a lot of people had it. I never even saw it on shelves when I was a kid. I never saw the aircraft carrier for G.I. Joe on shelves either. Maybe my mom was shielding me from it because she knew she couldn't afford it. Do any of you slashaholics or slashamaniacs have Eternia? If you do, let me know in the comments below. I'd definitely like to hear about that and how you got it and if you still have it. You can write in at slashtrax2020@gmail.com with any show suggestions or any questions, comments, or just to talk to me. slashtrax2020@gmail.com. All right, top toys of 1993. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that's a natural. They were huge. People were fighting each other in Toys R Us's for Power Ranger toys. It was crazy. Same thing with Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies were absolutely enormous in 1993. What was his name? Ty, the guy who created the Beanie Babies, he like intentionally held the amount of Beanie Babies back so they would be worth more. He inflated the market so people wanted them because they were perceived to be more valuable. Now they're not worth jack. Now they're just memes. Do any of you slashamaniacs have any Beanie Babies from your collection when you were kids? Pogs. Pogs were huge. One of the only toys outlawed at my school because it was a form of gambling. This one girl, I'm sure this happened at a lot of grade schools, this one girl lost her Pogs, complained about it, and got word to the principal, and the principal shut it down. So you couldn't play Pogs unless you were with your buddies outside of school, and the funnest part about Pogs was playing them at school at recess. Yeah, you lost your Pogs. Give them to me. You lost. Deal with it. Super Soakers. I had Super Soakers. I had the 200, which was like the backpack one, and I had the 30. Never had the 50, never had the 100. I just had the smallest one and the biggest one. And I left the 200 in the yard too long, and my mom put it in the burning barrel, so that was a great story. I don't know why I didn't just put it in the garage. What a dum-dum. Jurassic Park toys, because the Jurassic Park movie was a huge, huge cultural phenomenon. All the toys were huge too, still very popular. Talking Barney dolls, Barbie started to take over PBS, and Barbie. Barbie was huge. Always been huge, still is huge. Barney's a juggernaut. Top movies of 1993. Jurassic Park, $338 million. And when you hear this number, Slashamaniacs, you're going to realize how big this movie was. So $338 million for Jurassic Park. The number 2 film was The Fugitive with $176 million. So half of that. That's incredible. Fugitive was a huge movie. Huge movie. But Jurassic Park was just unstoppable. People went to see it 3 and 4 times. The Firm, $158 million. Sleepless in Seattle, $126 million. My favorite movie on this list, Mrs. Doubtfire, at $109 million. I'm surprised it only made $109 million because Mrs. Doubtfire appealed to adults and kids. I feel like it had a broader audience than a lot of these movies on this list, but I don't know. $109 million is still pretty good in 1993. And at 87, our friend Adam Marcus's, who wrote and directed this film, we've interviewed him twice on the channel. Our friend's film, Jason Goes to Hell, Mr. Adam Marcus, grossed $16 million at the box office, which was a profit and is pretty incredible for his first film. So kudos to Adam Marcus, friend of the channel. Let's do worst films of 1993, and this is according to Rotten Tomatoes. So Look Who's Talking Now, the third movie in the trilogy, 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. And as a kid, I think I was like 10, I remember seeing that movie and being like, yeah, this movie's awful. The dogs are talking in this film. The first movie is perfect. Mikey is great. The second movie's pretty good. You introduce the little sister, the Roseanne Barr voice. Her and Bruce Willis acting off each other's great. John Travolta kind of had his career renaissance for the first time with this film. Look Who's Talking. Solid 1 and 2, and just absolutely shit the bed with part 3. Number 4 worst film of 1993. We're going to skip around here. With 3%, RoboCop 3. I wasn't even aware that RoboCop 3 went to the theaters. I never saw it in my local theater. It must have came and went. Like the Cleveland Browns owner when he moved the Browns out of Cleveland to Baltimore. Just overnight, gone in the blink of an eye. Didn't catch that one. Saw it. Wasn't even the original RoboCop, and I knew it was a clunker. When I saw that, I was like, RoboCop doesn't even want to be in a RoboCop movie. Number 7, Hulk Hogan's movie, Mr. Nanny, 7%. And I can see why a lot of people don't like this movie. I like Mr. Nanny. I think it's fun. It's cheesy. It's low budget. I was a huge Hulkamaniac, and it was fun to see Hulk Hogan in like a parental role, kind of like because he was a dad at this time. His 2 kids were a little bit younger than the kids he was babysitting in the movie, but it was still interesting to see Hulk Hogan in a different light, and he was always good with kids, so that was a fun movie as a kid. But I do understand the 7%. Number 17, with 16%, Super Mario Brothers, the movie. And this movie doesn't deserve 16%. This movie's terrible. I didn't understand why Luigi was so much younger than Mario. I didn't understand why Koopa was not like a dinosaur the whole movie. I didn't understand anything about this movie. It was a total misfire. People are coming around to this movie a little bit now, and I don't understand it. It's not a good movie, and it needs to be forgotten. I knew it was terrible when I saw it. It made no sense. It made no sense. Number 24, Ninja Turtles 3, 21%. And this should be number 1 because this is the first movie I ever fell asleep in as a kid. It was terrible. All the voices were different for the most part. The suits were terrible. The plot was dumb. The villains were lame. If you're going to do Turtles in Time, why do you have to go back to the Samurai Age? I mean, couldn't they go to more than one place? Why on God's green earth didn't they use Jim Henson's Creature Workshop for the number 2 and 3? I guess it's because Jim Henson didn't want to be associated with such violent films, because when he saw the first film, he was like, oh, this is pretty violent. I don't want to be involved with this. But I don't know. They definitely took a lot of wrong paths and wrong directions for Ninja Turtles 3, and it killed the franchise because they didn't make another movie till 2007, and it was the CGI one. No good. Next mutation level for me. Slash Maniacs. What do you guys think about Ninja Turtles 3? Let me know in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you fall asleep in it? The best part about that movie was the snacks. Ate those, went night-night. Number 28, and this is an absolute injustice. I totally don't agree with this. Dennis the Menace, the 1993 movie by John Hughes, 23%. This movie, it should be 100%. Christopher Lloyd as Switchblade Sam is phenomenal. The little kid with the apple is great. Mason Gamble as Dennis the Menace is great. The girl who plays Margaret is great. The kid who plays Joey is great. The film is awesome. It is fun. Walter Matthau steals every scene he's in. I quote this movie daily. I love this movie. What do you guys think about the 1993 Dennis the Menace movie? Because this seems ridiculous. How could it even be included on this list? I'm insulted. Let's see what's going on with wrestling in 1993. All right, Monday Night Raw made its debut. So Monday Night Raw, first time ever. And they were at the Manhattan Center, which was like a glorified high school gym. Pretty weird venue. It was different, though. They wanted to do something different, and they definitely did. Monday Night Raw was cool because I remember seeing the 1-2-3 Kid defeat Razor Ramon. It was like a jobber defeating a big star. Had that feeling like anything could happen. Marty Jannetty beat Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental title on Monday Night Raw. It felt exciting. They definitely got the vibe right. Very cool when it first came out. What else was going on? Excuse me. King of the Ring made its debut in 1993. It was a big-time showcase for Bret the Hitman Hart. He wrestled 3 matches, 3 very different matches. He wrestled Mr. Perfect, he wrestled Bam Bam Bigelow, and he wrestled Razor Ramon. He had 3 different finishes in all those matches, too, and he proved he was the excellence of execution. That was the same show that Hogan dropped the title to Yokozuna and exited the company after the European tour. But Hogan had to not lose cleanly. Lost to a photographer on the ringside apron shooting a fireball at his face. This is the first time we've ever seen a photographer on the ring apron. None of it made sense. It still makes no sense. They should have just had Mr. Fuji hit Hogan with something or do something, throw salt in his eyes, something. The photographer thing is lame. Lame. It's still lame. Such a bad idea. It was definitely a Hogan idea. Lex Express was going on in 1993. They were trying to make Lex the next Hulk Hogan. He slammed Yokozuna on the aircraft carrier, and he went off on this big world tour, which was capped off with a SummerSlam match where he beat Yoko by countout and celebrated. Didn't win the title. Popcorn fart of an ending for that big build-up. Lex was just not the man. They misfired. They wanted to make the next Hogan, and he was not it. They needed to make Bret the first Bret the whole time. And they pivoted back to Bret. The WWE Hall of Fame was created, and we lost Andre the Giant. So we lost one of the biggest stars in the history of professional wrestling. Andre was bigger than the sport of professional wrestling. He was definitely larger than life. He was wonderful with kids. He was a very good man. He was simple. He was quiet. He wanted his privacy. And Andre the Giant put Hulk Hogan over at WrestleMania 3. And wrestling went to this absolute stratosphere. They had a repeat match, a revenge match at Saturday Night's Main Event, drew the biggest number in the history of professional wrestling on TV, and that's all because of your boy, Andre the Giant, and we miss Andre the Giant big time. Top TV shows of 1993. 60 Minutes, 20.9 million. Home Improvement, this surprises me, 20.4 million. Seinfeld, number 3. Home Improvement's above Seinfeld. This is incredible. 19.4 million. Number 4, Roseanne at 19.1 million. Number 5, Grace Under Fire, which surprises me that it's this high at 17.7 million. And Seinfeld, Roseanne, Home Improvement, and Grace Under Fire are all former stand-up comedians or active stand-up comedians with gigantic shows. This was a trend, Slash-O-Maniacs. Stand-up comedians were all just being handed shows, and they just started to blow up. It was crazy. It was like if you did any successful stand-up at all, they would give you a show. Number 6 was Coach, 17.4 million. 7 was Frasier, 16.8 million, which is just wild to me because didn't Cheers just end in 92? So Kelsey Grammer went from a huge show straight into another huge show. That man is slept on and underrated. He is a phenomenon. Kelsey Grammer. Number 8, Monday Night Football at 16.5 million. Murphy Brown, 16.3 million. Number 10, CBS Sunday Movie of the Week, 16.2 million. And then I just kind of threw in these other shows for fun. Number 16, Full House, 14.2 million. 21, Fresh Prince at 13.7 million. And number 30, Family Matters at 12.6 million. So TGIF had some heavy hitters in their lineup back in the day. TGIF used to be appointment television for me and my brother and my cousins and my family. TGIF was a big deal. I loved watching TV on Friday nights. Let's go to our second commercial break.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Have macaroni and cheese.
It's universally known something happens when Kraft cheese meets macaroni. Because when the cheese starts flowing,
Kraft gets your noodle going.
it's a beatnik xylophone or a spiraling cyclone.
They're great in any time zone.
Even when you're fully grony. It's Kraft cheesy macaroni. Because when the cheese starts flowing, Kraft that chip noodle going.
That Kraft macaroni and cheese commercial, it just brings back so many memories to me. It's like the Spiral-Roni. I remembered the song and the lyrics when I saw it again for the first time the other night. I'd never forgot them. And it had been over, almost over 30 years. That's insane. Whoever wrote that song, chef's kiss. All right, Slash-O-Maniacs, let's start actually breaking down the episode Island of Illusion. And let's get into it right now. So we open at Ernie's, where Zach is practicing for the dance contest. Bulk and Skull make a negative comment, and Zach dances over to them and accidentally knocks a shake onto Bulk. So Bulk is pissed. And Zach's saying it's an accident, but it didn't really look like an accident to me. Bulk is mad and said he's going to make Zach lose the dance contest. So I don't know how he's going to do that. Maybe physically render it to where Zach can't compete. I don't know. Cut to Rita's lair on the moon. Looks like she's decorated for Halloween too. She's got a glowing skull on her desk there. So she's in the mood. She's in the spooky season already. Cut to Rita's lair. Rita calls for two bad guys, Mutitis and Lokar. She says she's going to banish the Rangers to the Island of Illusion, and she means business. She's done with them. She's ready to end things with the Rangers. All right, cut back to the juice bar. Tommy is showing two kids how to be a true martial arts master, be in control of the situation so nobody gets hurt. So he basically shows them how to block and diffuse the situation, which is pretty cool. I like that they're showing this on the show. Meanwhile, Bulk and Skull are having a dance-off. Or, excuse me, Bulk and Zach. Bulk and Skull. Bulk and Zach. Zach is absolutely serving Bulk his ass. Bulk is getting served on the dance floor. Bulk falls and knocks down a bunch of pillars at the juice bar. First of all, why are there pillars there? They're only there to get knocked over. And why are they so flimsy? There's no explanation for this. I don't think we've ever seen these before or since. I don't know. Did the Slash-O-Maniacs have any idea what's going on here? Huh? All the Rangers have a laugh, and Zach proceeds to make a negative comment about himself and walks off. So, huge Debbie Downer moment here. Seems out of place. It doesn't really make sense. Zach is usually very confident, and there's no backstory to this, so I don't understand. It's like he's just feeling down about himself so they can have this story. That's the only reason. Total lack of self-confidence. Billy deduces. So Billy says something very scientific, but just the gist is he has no self-confidence, or he's lacking self-confidence. Back on the moon, Rita summons Lokar and Mutitis to destroy the Earth. The juice bar is rocking and rolling, so it looks like a huge earthquake, /Kateers. The Rangers contact Zordon, and he's already aware of the problem. The Rangers head out to find Zach, because Zach already left in a pile of miserableness, lack of self-confidence. Zach just took off by himself. He dipped. Tommy goes to save his students, and Jason says he understands and proceeds to take off. So Jason doesn't try to help Tommy. So kudos to Tommy for staying behind during the earthquake to save his students. No kudos to Jason for just saying, oh, I understand, and then dipping. It's like, it was just weird. It was out of place. Not even an offer to help, I say. So they find Zach at the park alone. And how'd they find him? He didn't have his bike tipped over like when we were kids. Do you guys remember being kids? And the only way you could find somebody in the 90s or the 80s was to see where their bike was at and where your friends were at. You just see all the bikes tipped over and you're like, okay, they're here. They find Zach at the park. Goldar is heading that way with putties, though. So good news, bad news situation. Compliment sandwich. A fight in the park breaks out. The putties are getting worked over, so the Rangers are putting up a great fight. Here comes Goldar, though, and Scorpina with the hot tag. So the putties tag in some fresh new heel bodies. The Rangers morph. It's morphin' time, baby. Rita finishes her spell for the new monsters. One shows up. Jason calls for dinosaur power because they need it. The Megazord is here and gets hurt immediately. So the monster's kind of working over the Megazord. Rita's talking a bunch of mess to Finster about making her own monsters and how those monsters are winning for a change. So she's putting Finster down big time, and it's funny. Rita shows up to the fight, and she's just kind of watching. She's being a creeper. She's kind of peeping through the blinds there at the fight. She pulls a James Bond villain and tells the Rangers her plan and that Lokar is awaiting them. So she reveals her whole hand here. She's like Kim Kardashian playing poker with reverse sunglasses where you can see her hand that she's holding in the mirrored sunglasses there. Yeah, why? Why is she telling them? Just surprise them. You don't need to tell them what's coming. Just bring it on. Bring it on. Just let them show up. Let the Rangers deal with it when it happens. Lokar shows up in the sky, big, scary ass head, I say. So just a big head, blowing terrible morning breath on the Rangers. Zordon calls for Tommy's help. Tommy asks Ernie to watch the kids and heads out. Lokar breathes on Mutitis and makes him even scarier and tougher. So Lokar can hurt you with his breath, or he can improve you with his breath. I guess he can just do that however he decides to, I guess. I don't know. Mutitis is whipping the Rangers. But wait, it's Tommy to the rescue. The Dragon Zord, the flute is rocking. You can hear it. Do, 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 do. The Dragon Zord is cleaning house. The Megazord regroups and they 2-on-1 the Mutitis. Mutitis uses a fire extinguisher on both Zords and takes control of the fight. So toxic foam. That's interesting. So this reminds me of when I had a fire extinguisher at my apartment when I was like in my early 20s. I had neighbors that wouldn't stop like parking in my spot, so I used the fire extinguisher, covered their car with it. They came to my house the next day. They're like, hey, my car was covered with fire extinguisher stuff. Do you know of anyone? Did you see anyone do it, or did you hear anyone outside or anything? And I said, no, I didn't hear anything. And they believed me. They left. And then I closed the door, and then I looked down at my feet, and it was covered in like white fire extinguisher debris. Had they looked down at my feet, I would have been busted big time. That is a true story. That happened. Okay, where are we at now? Both Zords go down, and the Rangers hop out like G.I. Joes shot down in an airplane. So the Zords are going down because of the toxic foam. Rangers hop out. But they don't hop out to the ground. They're immediately sent to the island, another dimension, the horrible island, the island of illusion. Zordon says the only thing that can save them is self-confidence because Alpha is just freaking out. So the tension is building. Things are starting to get definitely more tense. The Rangers are in big trouble. Let's go to our third commercial break.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
It's here. A force so phenomenal. A power of such interdimensional proportions, you'd think it was right out of a movie. It is, and it's only at McDonald's. The mighty Morphin Power Rangers and their Ninja Zords have landed. You can get a break, and your kids can get a more phenomenal Ninja Zord and action figure set for just $1.59 when you buy a Happy Meal or large sandwich. Collect them all. They're here to save the world.
Sir? Yes? You gonna eat all those fries?
Have you had your break today?
McDonald's Power Rangers swag. Sign me up. Sign me up. I remember being a kid around that movie time, and I went to McDonald's, and I had blood on one of my wrappers. Somebody must have cut their finger at the McDonald's and then like wrapped my sandwich. Went home, saw that there was blood all over my wrapper, got a hold of the McDonald's. They said, come on down, show us the wrapper or whatever, and then, you know, we'll see what we can do. So McDonald's let me and a friend come down there and eat as much food as we wanted. I think they gave us gift cards for future visits, and then we got all the Power Rangers toys from the movie. Looking back, probably a huge misstep on myself and my mom's part. Probably could have sued their pants off. But at the time, I was having a blast. Got all the toys, got a bunch of food. Great day. Not looking back, not such a great decision, but you don't have to sue everybody. It's whatever. Slash Maniacs, what would you have done in that situation? Would you have sued McDonald's, or would you have went my route and got all the food you could handle and all the Power Rangers toys you could handle? I think I would probably still do the toys thing. I don't know. So the Rangers are now on the island of illusion, and they actually land on a tree. That's it. Show's over. They're done. The Rangers are no longer alive. Rita wins. The Rangers get off the tree. Their communicators and power coins are both gone. They're absolutely screwed. They have no way to morph. They have no way to communicate to Zordon. Nothing. And they weren't doing a very good job when they were fighting with all of their stuff previously, the previous scenes. So they're in big trouble. They all decide it's time to explore the island. They got to see where they're at, what's going on. So they're going to try to make the best of a very, very bad situation. They cut to a scene, like a quick cut of a Komodo dragon. If there's Komodo dragons on this island, the Rangers are in big, big trouble. If they weren't done by landing on a tree, they are done now, because Komodo dragons can smell like particles of blood in the air from miles away. They fell on a tree. One of them has to be bleeding. The Komodo dragon's going to eat the Rangers. That's it. This is the monster that's going to take them out. Naturally occurring monster, a Komodo dragon. Kimberly's holding Jason perhaps a little too tight for my liking. Tommy's in behind of everybody. Kind of looks scared. Jason's definitely leading the group at this point. This is pre-contract negotiations. Haim Saban is still very much behind Jason as the leader at this point. And I say, what about Tommy? I thought Tommy and Kimberly had a thing going on. The Rangers are being followed. They hear a weird, loud noise. And Zach ends up finding him. It's Quagmire. It's like a little, magician, flute player guy who's going to help guide them on their quest in the Island of Illusion and kind of give them little breadcrumbs and hints. He tells them, okay, so they say, who are you? He says he's Quagmire or whatever. He says if Rita sent them here, they're no friends of his. He's scared and he says to stay away. He's no fan of Rita. So look up. It's Goldar. So Goldar's back to start some more crap and talk some more ish. He's in the sky and he's running his mouth as usual about about their missing power coins. He sends multiple monsters for the Rangers to fight, like at that exact moment. All the previous monsters that the Rangers had fought earlier in the season come back. The Rangers square up and then the monsters disappear. So as soon as the Power Rangers squared up and were ready to fight, the monsters disappeared. So that's interesting. You got to kind of put a pin in that. The Rangers are confused, and Goldar basically explains to them what's going on at the Island of Confusion. Goldar's an idiot. Why are you telling the Rangers what's going on? Just don't say anything. Just don't say anything. They don't know what's going on. Let them figure it out. Why does Rita have to tell everyone the plan? Why does Goldar have to tell them exactly what's going on at the island? This is why you lose every week. Just don't say anything, okay? Zach is freaking out. He's having a terrible trip. Terrible trip in both ways. Like a terrible trip and a terrible, trip. It seems like he's tripping. He walks into a snake and freezes. It's a snake that none of the other Rangers can see. Only he can see it. So Zach got some good stuff. Billy declares that Rita is trying to make them doubt themselves and use their fears against them. Zach starts to pull a Marty McFly from Back to the Future, and he's looking at his picture of his family. Well, Marty disappears, and so is Zach. Quagmire shows up and says they'll disappear if they doubt and are scared. And Zach is definitely scared, and Zach is definitely doubting. They definitely need to believe in themselves at this point, because if they don't, they're done. Luckily, Goldar's there to tell them how to defeat Rita and himself in this episode. Goldar once again begins to run his mouth. And Goldar's just having a blast. Goldar is particularly amusing in this episode. He's funny. He's just pushing the Rangers' buttons. And the episode ends with Zach, fading away. He's halfway gone, and the Rangers are scared. So to be continued. Let's go to our fourth commercial break, and then we'll break down the episode, and I'll tell you what I think about it, and we'll give it a score.
Delete messages. We'll be right back.
Okay, rumor has it there's a Captain Crunch effect. But what is it?
It's big!
With that, Captain will test the crunchy part of this balanced breakfast
On those choppers.
Captain, your observations?
If their teeth don't get me, their breath will. Seafood platter.
Sharks, go for it, Ann. Satellite shutdown! What's happening? Captain!
Sit up, slap me some fin. Bag, nice sharky.
The taste tamed the beast. Major crunch effect.
I'm not sure that I was a big fan of the Cap'n Crunch because they were trying to be a little too hip, but I was definitely a fan of Captain Crunch at that point. I still am. Love Captain Crunch. Got to eat it fast, though, because the soggies will show up and make you have a bad day, okay? Did I like the episode? Was I into the plot and storyline? Yeah, I definitely like this episode. Lots of enemies. Interesting new bad guys. Good fight scenes. Multiple fight scenes. You got the fight in the park. You got the fight with the Zords. Definitely some good stuff going on. The Rangers are kind of getting their rears handed to them, though, quite a bit in this episode. So the stakes are very high. Yeah, I say high stakes there. The Rangers are in big trouble. They're definitely in big trouble. No power coins, no communicators. They're vanishing. Their pets' heads are falling off. And yeah, I was definitely into the plot and storyline. There was a lot of stuff to sink my teeth into. There was a lot of there was an A and B plot kind of going on. Got the dance contest. Zach's worried about it. You got the Rangers being transported to another island. You got different monsters showing up. Goldar's doing his thing. This is a good, solid episode. They did a good job writing this episode. Except for it made no sense why Zach has no confidence. They should have somehow had someone say a comment that was like sideways comment or something. Something should have happened. They just go right into it. I could have used maybe just a little bit of setup. But it's hard to do that in like 19 to 20 minutes. So I guess I understand. Favorite parts, least favorite parts. Okay, so I said I wish I had Bulk's confidence, because say what you want to say about Bulk, but this man has the confidence of a trained dancer, a trained musician, an expert weightlifter. In his mind, he can do anything, okay? And in this particular instance, Bulk thinks he's a professional dancer. He tries everything with supreme confidence, a lot of self-belief. So Bulk would have no problem with the Island of Illusion because he's uber confident, even if it's from the wrong place, or, you know, he still is confident in his abilities, and he doesn't ever believe he's going to fail, even though he is going to. So, I mean, I would like to have that ability to believe in myself no matter what. I like that Tommy stays with his students. I like that Rita created the monsters this time instead of Finster, and they're actually doing a decent job. So that was a different wrinkle. I like that. What else do I like? I like when Tommy showed up with the Dragon Zord to save the day. That was super cool. Got goosebumps still. 42. I still get goosebumps when He-Man transforms. Love it when they say Morphin time. They just hit the nail on the head with those transformations. They still pump me up. Least favorite parts. Why does Zach have no confidence? I've talked about this. It makes no sense. He's an uber swaggy, confident character. A lot of riz, whatever the young kids say these days. Zach had it all. So it doesn't really make sense. They don't, okay, Zach's Debbie Downer act. Zach is for sure Debbie Downer before Debbie Downer on SNL. Not a big fan of that. Probably bringing down the group dynamic quite a bit. Probably a bummer for the rest of the Rangers. I don't like that Jason just left Tommy. He's like, all right, see you later. I'm out of here. You can perish in the earthquake. The only thing that can save... I don't like that the only thing that can save them is self-confidence. It's like a little too on the nose. It's like the only thing that could save the Rangers is self-confidence. Why? Couldn't the communicators and power coins help just a little bit? Because they don't have those. How is self-confident? I don't know. Zordon obviously knows something that we don't know, and this is only part 1, so I got to give it a little bit of room to breathe. We got to like suss things out. We got to see the whole picture with both episodes. So maybe I'm judging a little too harshly, too quickly. It's time to rate the episode. How many Vanishing Rangers out of 4? So I had a lot of fun with this episode. I'm going to give it 3.5 Vanishing Rangers out of 4. I can only imagine that the second part's going to be better, because it's going to be a lot more battles. They're going to be overcoming a lot more obstacles to close out the 2-parter. Definitely looking forward to seeing the second episode. Excuse me. And then usually I end the show right there, but I have a couple questions written down real quick. They're in California when the juice bar starts shaking, and they just immediately think it's Rita. It's like, but they're in California. This could be an earthquake. This could absolutely be an earthquake. And nobody does anything. Nobody drops and gets into a ball. No one gets under a table, except for the kids that Tommy's training. They're the only smart ones in the juice bar. Yeah, it could just be an earthquake. Might not be Rita. I don't know. Tommy needs to put the communicator on silent, I say, because he's at the juice bar when he's called to help the Rangers. And it like, deet, 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 deet. And he leaves immediately after that. He's got the Superman thing going on. He's like, hey, Ernie, can you watch my students? And Ernie's like, yeah, sure, you know, whatever. Ernie's not even cleaning up the juice bar that was just destroyed in the earthquake that Rita caused. Just reading a newspaper. Ernie could care less, got no time for it, but I said, you know, Tommy definitely needs to put that communicator on silent, at least, because he's tipping his hat, or he's showing his hand a little bit too much. And then my last thing I say, so when Rita's watching the Rangers from the moon, she can see them. I understand that. I get that. She can see it. She's got a telescope. You see things from far away with a telescope. How can she also hear them? So this telescope has the ability to hear things on Earth as well? Okay. Okay. Slash-O-Maniacs, Slash-Keteers. That's the end of this Saturday's episode. I had a lot of fun. As you could probably tell, halfway through the episode, my freaking light went out again, so we're going to have to figure something out with the lighting. The Slash Trax clubhouse is falling apart. I hope you guys have a great Saturday. I hope you guys have some cereal. I hope you guys get a nice big sandwich from a local sandwich shop. Get some chips and a nice soda. Do whatever you want. Go play at the park. Go fight some putties. You got it. Listen, I'm kicking you out, at least for the rest of today. Go outside and play. Look for the other Slash-Keteers. If their bike's down sideways in the park, go have some fun. You can go anywhere you want, but you can't stay here. Have a great Saturday. Mahalo, dogs. I'm out.
I'm with Drew right here, just on the Morphin. Listen, I know he's going through some hard stuff. We're all going to pray for him. He's going to get through it. And we just want to say it's Morphin time. And we'll all be praying for you, okay, buddy? You'll be fine.